In the world of anime, there's a variety of genres to choose from. We got action, romance, slice of life, mystery, psychological, the list goes on, and of course, for those cultured individuals, wholesome. Like, I swear it's 100% wholesome. And if you're new around here, wholesome can really mean one of two things. Or actually, really just one. And if I do not use the word wholesome to substitute the hen with a tie, I think this video was about to get struck by that yellow dollar sign faster than I can say hen. So I always had this idea of creating a video of this nature, just talking about cultured anime, right? But I really never found a way to go about it. Like, what am I gonna do? Review these wholesome anime with a straight face, explain the complexity and depth of the vastly compelling plot while spreading my degeneracy to the world? Oh wait, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So grabbing some inspiration from this video I found from the Anime Man, where he pretty much went over the worst wholesome anime in existence, I decided to take matters into my own hands and sort of do the same thing. Except I'm not just gonna grab one, we're gonna get a whole damn handful here of the worst. Like, I literally scrolled down to the bottom of my anime list's wholesome anime category, right? I saw the worst scored ones, grabbed a handful of them, and that is pretty much what this video is. I literally binged all of them in one night. It was one long ass night, by the way, and honestly, the material I was watching, like, I don't know how anyone could get excited to it, and if someone somehow did, they may want to consult the nearest mental asylum. I promise you, I was just doing this for research purposes. Like, I was doing it for this video, I was not excited, and I feel like by me saying that won't change how you view me. But anyways, I guess the like goal here, 6K likes. Let's go. If you would like me to make another part, a continuation to this video, where I'll go over even more of Japan's worst creations. And with that said, I will be ordering the wholesome anime in this video from highest rated to lowest. So the notorious 𝓗Իn𝓷𝓽å𝙞 is gonna be the final wholesome anime we're gonna go over, because you gotta keep the best for last. Am I right? So starting with the highest rated cultured piece of anime with a whopping 4.74 score rating on my anime list, we got Katakyoshi 𝓗ዓይn𝓷𝓽å𝙞, a story following this high school boy who's struggling and needs some tutoring. It's a pretty straightforward plot and it's not that complex. I mean, it is a cultured piece of literature, so I mean, what is there to expect? But essentially, with this being a wholesome anime, you know where this goes. The tutor comes over, teaches him 1 + 3, then after taking 35 minutes to learn that, they get down in wholesome. And let me tell you, this is a f***ing picture drama. Meaning that the entirety of the show, the entirety of the display, looks like your middle school PowerPoint presentation that you'd see back in 2010. And the art does not do justice to disprove this fact. Now, my question is, who actually took the time to put this together? Like, this is an absolute waste of time. But given the quality of this and how it looks, it probably just took 5 minutes to make anyways. And believe it or not, this actually drops late 2001. So, like, this was around the time Hikari no Go and Full Metal Panic aired. So they really had no right to have something look like this. I mean, overall, I guess audio-wise, it wasn't too bad, but it was mad awkward to just have to be staring at one frame for like 30 seconds while they were just making noise. Like, why? Why is this a thing? But needless to say, it did have a 4.74 rating on my anime list. I mean, to be honest, 4.74 is way too high for what it was. But anyways, bringing the bar down a little lower, we got miniskirt Gakuen with a nice average of 4.69. And it seems to be another older animation, but wait, hold up, there's actually animation? Finally, something of quality. Just kidding, what the f is this art? Yo, what is up with this time period and terrible art? Was this a trend? Literally, this and Katakyoshi 𝓗ዓይn𝓷𝓽å𝙞 dropped on the same exact day according to Mal. I don't know how accurate the dates are on my anime list, but goddamn, it must have been a sad day for the cultured viewers. And what is James doing here? Don't you got a Pikachu to capture? But essentially how this plot goes for miniskirt Gakuen, you know, we got some pretty juicy drama. So it starts off with this girl getting pegged by balls, of the volley kind, of course. And this somehow evolves into some wholesome fun because, I don't know, I guess it's because it's a wholesome anime, which crazy enough, this girl catches them and snitches to one of the girl's boyfriend, aka James. Which backstory, the girl that snitched actually got rejected by James after confessing her feelings. So she wanted that hardcore revenge and is like, see, your girl ain't loyal, lol. And so after being absolutely cucked, James' first instinct after that was to have some wholesome fun with the girl he rejected, because why not, am I right? And as they are doing their thing, the two girls that were having a whole damn Yuri scene in the gym came outside and is like, hey yo! And so James's girl, unable to control her anger, pegs balls at this girl, which then evolves into a three-way Yuri scene, and James is there like, yo, I want in, but then they're like, nah, you can't have us, we don't need you no more, go away. And now it seems he's blasting off again. Okay, that was extremely corny, but I don't care. So going even further down the ladder, we got Offside Girl with a juicy 4.68 score. And would you look at that, it's another sports anime. First we got volleyball, and now we got some good old soccer. with extremely questionable visuals. Unlike Katakyoshi Bishoujo, Offside Girl actually has some form of animation, despite it being sort of like a picture drama. It's like me taking a PNG file and moving it around in Photoshop and calling that animation. It's definitely an upgrade from Katakyoshi, but still looks like absolute shit. And the art, my lord. Isn't there someone who looks over this sort of thing before submitting it to the world? Because there's no way someone looked at this and was like, huh, looks good. But if there's anything positive to take away from the visuals, at least they got the opie physics down. Right? And let me mention that this actually came out in 2007, so they had the technology to create something more visually pleasing, but they decided to go with this because, I don't know, they want it to be unique. I mean, I gotta give them props. It does look pretty unique, but it's... God damn it, why does it look like this? Yeah, it's probably because they had a $5 budget. That's probably it. So then the next row of wholesome anime that I'm supposed to go over in this video is Boku no Pico, which I believe I've gone over too many times on this channel, and I believe too many people know about it. So like, I really don't have to waste my time and go over this because we all know it's a masterpiece. Nah, but real talk, in terms of production quality, Boku no Pico far surpasses any of the
wholesome anime
that I went over in this video or that I'm gonna go over. Like, you may think I'm crazy for saying this, but I believe Boku no Pico was ahead of its time. Like, it was the peak of quality for wholesome anime. Like, I'd rather rewatch Boku no Pico than actually watch any of the shows or any of the wholesome anime that I put in this video. So the fact that it's this low on my anime list, yo, what is going on, guys? Have you watched what I've watched? This is actually quality. It don't deserve to be put down here with all the rest of these fools. Like, boom, 10, boom, 10, boom, 10. Like, I don't care. That was the pinnacle of wholesome anime for its time. Anyways, I apologize for going off on a tangent. Let's move on to the next greatest piece of cultured literature, idol Kyousei Sousa, with an average of 4.67. And, oh great, the ugly bastard is here. So my first impression going into this was, hey, it can't be that bad. The art seems pretty modern and it was not a slideshow, so I was like, yo, that's a plus. Well, let me tell you, it was not dajobu. After 1 minute of going into this, all my hopes of actually watching something visually pleasing just gone. Just like that. I've never felt so down in my life. With this being the fourth thing that I've watched, like, I watched all these shows back to back to back, expecting something, at least something like funny, something laughably bad, but like, it was just bad, dude. And the ugly mustard does not help the cause either. I mean, at least the art style was so bad to the point where it made the ugly mustard look better by reducing the details on his face. But aside from that, it's like, why? Who actually looked at this and was like, yo, this is presentable. We can show this to a crowd. But anyways, how the plot goes, or how the story goes for this is, it follows this idol, you know, this girl right here. And I really didn't bother to learn her name because I just don't care. So essentially, she's an idol and she has developed this persona that she's just a hoe, right? But in reality, I guess that she's not. And I mean, she just pretends to put on a show or whatever. And my question is why are you going through the trouble of becoming an idol instead of just starting up an OnlyFans? But anyways, as she's chilling backstage, this is when the president of the idol agency comes in, aka the ugly mustard, which then he brings out his iPhone 3 and takes a picture of her. And believe it or not, this phone has abilities. That's crazy, I know. And this phone grants the user to control whoever he takes a picture of. So it pretty much works like a voodoo app. And with that being said, it's a wholesome anime, and you know where this goes. And let me tell you, for those wholesome scenes, the horrific art style really complements the clunky ass animation. So up next, we got Battle Can or Battle Squared, with a average score of 4.54. So if this is Battle Can Squared, wouldn't that make Kanajo cubed? And I don't know where I'm going with this, but let me tell you, if you go into this expecting some wholesome goodness, you may end up in disappointment. Because the way I viewed this one over the other pieces of cultured media is that this one actually had sort of a action-y vibe to it. It was not your typical wholesome anime where they just go straight to the wholesome scenes. There are them wholesome scenes included in there, but the majority of this OVA or whatever this is just an action anime. So if you go into this mad excited, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you simply view this as an action anime, it's actually somewhat watchable. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever watched, I'm not gonna lie. I was somewhat entertained with this one. Like, I never knew Star Wars had an anime spin-off, so I might have to give this one a pass. It was not as bad as the ratings say it was. The animation and art was fine, but the wholesome scenes in it were actually rather strange. There's this one scene where this alien stuck his whole head up the girl's void. Yeah. So up next, we got Joshidai Ecchi Sodanshitsu with a fat 4.54 rating. And this is what happens when you let your junior high students play with Adobe Flash. says this review. And I don't think it's that far from the truth. Just as I thought the animation and art couldn't get any worse, yeah, we found another level of trash. And seemingly enough, the story follows the pretty safe and standard I want to get with Sensei plot. Oh, there's not much to say for this one. I think the art and animation speaks for itself, and I really didn't expect anything else because it did have a 4.54 rating, which, to be honest, I think you guys are giving this a little too much credit. Bring that number down. So anyways, moving forward, we got another quality wholesome anime, Esper Bishoujo Manami, with an overall rating of 4.53.
それにしても教科書ってのはもうちょっと面白く作れないのかな。アニメにしちゃうとかさ。
So you can fix your own show. Now my question is, what was going on with the lip flaps in that one clip I just showed you? But getting down to the plot of things for this wholesome anime, I gotta commend them for their originality. Although this is honestly one of the most strangest shits I've ever seen in my whole entire life. So essentially how it goes is that this girl is just studying in a classroom like any other student would be, but then I cannot make this shit up. A naked Captain Ginyu appears behind her, and you can see that there's the word Esper in the title, meaning that there should be some form of superpowers in this, right? Well, it doesn't clickbait because there is. This girl got them powers, but then with the power of terrible animation, she gets absolutely rolled by Captain Ginyu. And for a second there, I thought I was watching the 4th season of the 7 Deadly Sins. But after getting blasted back by Captain Ginyu, this is where things get pretty wholesome. And Captain Ginyu has powers of his own, which, to go into detail, he has the power to produce worm clones of himself, which really resemble big purple and just picture these big fat purple aggressively getting wholesome with the main character. Yeah, that's a sight I thought I'd never see in my whole entire life. And just as I thought things couldn't get any weirder, who knew Captain Ginyu was a ditto? Because he transforms into this girl and resumes getting wholesome with her, and then the main character loses her marbles after this, and then the teacher walks in, and then that's where the whole thing ends. Yeah, and so this now brings us to the next wholesome film, Blue Seagull, with an average score of 4.36. And let me tell you, this is a fat movie. It's 1 hour long, and the amount of wholesome scenes within this, it's like 5% of the whole entire movie. Yeah, it's quite disappointing, and every wholesome scene within this was heavily censored. So if you go into this excited, you might actually just fall asleep because it was that boring. This movie is trash. It's essentially your typical trashy shonen glazed with occasional wholesome scenes in there, which really they don't show too much in those scenes. And it has me questioning why this film has the wholesome tag to it. Because if this is tagged as a wholesome anime on my anime list, why is Tokyo Ghoul Reseason 2 not labeled as one? Now, I'm not gonna lie, this whole entire movie was f***ing sleeper. It's an old-ass 1994 anime movie. What did I expect? I mean, actually, maybe some good films came out during that time, but this is definitely not one of them. And one notable thing I would like to point out with this film is that, like, who gave them CG? Whoever gave them the ability to use CG should be arrested. From the planes to the cars, I felt f***ing nauseous. Like, we know CG could be a beautiful thing. Like, you know, Attack on Titan, the Fate series, they know how to use them shits right. But then we go to this movie, and why? And also, were they making an anime or a cartoon? Because what are these Cartoon Network looking ass characters doing here? Anyways, I think I'm done here. Let's now move on to the last and greatest wholesome anime on this list, Suinosoda, with the lowest average score of 2.42. Yikes. And believe it or not, this is actually not the worst thing I've watched out of the bunch. It was in the middle. It's like, you know, it's in the middle tier for me personally. Middle tier as in comparing it to everything I've watched so far in this video. If I were to compare this to some generic pink pineapple wholesome anime, yeah, this is definitely going in the trash, dude. This was bad. Like, really bad, but definitely not the worst that I've watched in this whole entire video. I mean, at least they got a good ratio of wholesome scenes in this, despite them being heavily censored and incredibly dragged out to the point where it made Boruto's pacing look alright. Now, speaking for the art, you can really tell they just did not care. Like, look at that background here. Looks like a fucking preschooler's artwork after just learning about shapes. And the way they drew these characters, did they forget what proportions are? Her head built like a whole damn acorn. But hey, maybe the reason why the art is so bad is because they put their whole budget in the animation. That has to be why. Just look at how clean and smooth this running is. Now you may be wondering, what's the whole plot of this wholesome anime? And my answer to that is, I don't fucking know. Because the way it goes from point A to point B to point Z to point D. I just don't fucking understand. It was probably because I was too distracted at the shit artwork. I just couldn't comprehend what was going on. So yeah, anyways, I think I am done here. I might have to take a 5-hour shower after this because I do feel filthy. And any of the wholesome anime that I've showcased in this video, I really don't recommend watching. But with me saying that, I'm sure reverse psychology will take its course and I'm not responsible for any trauma you experience. So yeah, I think it's time to wrap up this video. Drop a like, please, to ease my pain. Subscribe if you're new to ease my pain. And I'm really regretting my life decisions.